Hi YouTube, Art here again with another video, but today's video is a little bit different. I've spent the last 2 weeks or so totally redoing my office and my setup. And while we wait for Black Ops 6 to release, it seemed like a great time to give y'all a little bit of a tour. So when I first started streaming, I was actually streaming in the bedroom in this house, right next to the bed in a very small space. When I bought the house, I moved into this back room that we're filming in right now, and I just kind of landed my desk somewhere that I thought would look nice. I literally looked in the room and was like, yeah, that's a nice backdrop. Landed the desk there, it was in the middle of the room, and honestly, it was kind of a mess. I made it work, and it was very clever, but it was a mess. Redoing this and making this room really shine has been a pleasure, and we're just gonna jump in and I'll show you guys right now. So if you don't know, I live in the Southwest. I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So this room is actually Adobe, as you can see from all of the walls here. It's got lovely wood ceilings with these vigas or beams across. And then you might see this fake window back here. Now, this is actually a projector that I got off of Amazon. It was just like a random idea that I got one day. This projector is then connected to my MacBook that I used to use in the film industry, and it is running OBS with Lumia Stream, which lets stream, change the background to different backgrounds, and also there are these little alerts that show up on there. There's a downhill skateboard there, that's something I used to do. We can talk about the camera really quick because there's this mirror here. This is the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. The first gen, this used to be used on film sets that I worked on as a crash cam. It worked on Better Call Saul. It worked on the Breaking Bad movie for some pretty cool rigged to stuff shots. But now I use it as my face cam, my B-roll cam, and all of that. And that's what we'll go to next is the B-roll setup. But first, we've got the lovely fireplace that I hope to get fixed this winter with some little flickery LED candle lights, a sconce, cloud sconce on the wall, some Govee RGB lights, the bars, these are all Govee lights, including the twinkle lights on the ceiling. And speaking of ceiling, we have over here my setup camera. And if you've been in the stream before, you've seen this. This is a camera that sees the whole setup and everything from the back. And it's a pretty cool little angle there. It's mounted to the ceiling using this baby plate here, which is just a fancy term for a screw-on pin for a light. And then the cables are all wrangled nicely on the ceiling all the way back to that wall there. We were talking about B-roll, so we have my B-roll setup. This is my old desk that I kind of wedged up on this raised part of the room that used to have a stove in it. And this is where I shoot all my B-roll. I have a little monitor back there that I can hook my camera up, some lights on arms so I can position them where I need to, and then a black backdrop that I've hung from the ceiling, so I kind of have an endless black backdrop, as well as this little digital Lazy Susan where I can put product on it and make it work. That is my bathroom and my bedroom through there. And then underneath this futon, besides being a place to sit, are 2 battery backups. So each of those is capable of 1,000 watts, which I need for my gaming PC actually, because the gaming PC gets close to that. And then one for the streaming PC, each for the power strips that I'll show you guys later that are attached to the bottom of the desk. More Govee RGB lights, and then of course the whole setup, which we'll get here in a second, but first, the all-important streamer mini fridge here. Now, if there's any energy beverage companies watching that would like to hook it up and fill this fridge, I currently just fill it with my own Red Bull. And then on top of that, we have my island of knickknacks here, which are just all of the accessories that I don't really use anymore, some old mice, Envision controller, my old Fuji, custom controller from Lato. There's this wrap gift from Ray Seahorn from Better Call Saul, which is really cool. She plays Kim. Got all kinds of cool little film knickknacks. Got a wrap gift from a comedy I did. And then because sometimes when you shoot film, they send you empty canisters, I decided to keep this Dune 1 canister because it is cool as heck. With that being said, I think we can hop directly into talking about the setup. So I think the best thing to do here is just start left from right because there is a lot going on here. You can see here I have a whole ring organizer with a bunch of IEMs. This is just the cleanest way I found to organize them all and to keep them paired up. In front of the IEMs, you have the Vader 4 Pro, which I've already done a video about. I'll link it down below if you haven't seen it. This is the fastest, best controller on the market. If you are not using this because it has an Xbox layout, you are sleeping. I will have a bunch of these to give away at World Series of Warzone and at TwitchCon, so if you see me at any of those events, let me know. We can talk about hooking you up with one. For a lot of people, this is the main event. This is my gaming PC. The screen printing, the PC was all done by Stintsbuilt. They are great. I work with them a lot. I have a couple streaming PC builds with them on their website. I'll link those down in the description below. But this unit was actually gifted to me. Member of the community B-Sinks, who worked with a good buddy of mine, Logan, at Stintsbuilt and put together this beast. This is a 13900K with 7200 megahertz RAM and MSI Supreme 4090. This thing cooks. I've had it tuned by MnK FPS Hub over at FPS Hub. He is a homie. He knows his stuff, and he has got my frames running right. One little tip for all of these new DDR5 builds, just put an extra fan like I have on the RAM. Keeps it cool, keeps it from crashing, and is just a simple cheap fix. In front of the gaming PC, you'll see the trusty Go XLR. In my opinion, this is still the best option for dual PC. It's not dying, they're actively supporting it, and the Rodecaster is just too much of a pain in the butt to use. So I'm still using the Go XLR. As far as mic arm, I'm using the Geekoto mic arm. This is brand new, just came out. Repulse told me about it. He wanted to mimic the really expensive arm that he uses, so he worked with them to make this, and I really like it. I have a shock mount as well as the RE20. You might notice I don't have the Shure SM7B. The Electro Voice RE20, in my opinion, is just a more neutral sounding mic. It's not quite as dark and boomy sounding, and I've always just liked how the mic sounds, and I really like how it looks. This retro mic, I mean, I think it's been around since the late 60s, early 70s, and it still sounds great. Like I said, all that runs back to my Go XLR. My Go XLR receives optical audio from my game PC. The USB is connected to my stream PC, which we'll get to here in a second. Out of the Go XLR, I run an aux to RCA cable into my audio stack. So I don't use a DAC. It doesn't really make sense for dual PC. I just have an amp. My amp is the SMSL HO200. It receives the RCA ins from the Go XLR, and then it has an XLR connection, which I have my Heart Audio modular cable connected to. It goes in XLR, and then it gives you a mini XLR connection that you can then connect his custom cables to. I have a bunch of custom IEM cables from him, as well as a custom cable for my HD 490s, which are my only headset that I use that you saw back on the headphone side of things. They have the XLR connection that I use for the modular cable. They have a 1/4-inch connection for traditional headphones, and then a 4.4 balance connection, which is traditionally used for nicer IEM cables. It's got high, medium, and low gain, which is great, meaning I can use it for IEMs and headphones, big and small. It also has this switch that takes you from HPA, which is headphone amp, to preamp, which then sends the audio out to this amp that you see on top. This is just a cheap Amazon speaker amp that runs to two, like 12-year-old Pioneer speakers that I have on either side. I'm getting a subwoofer here in a couple days to add, just so that when I'm not playing the game, when I'm not streaming, I can just use my PC on speakers. Moving left from that, you can see my two Stream Decks. Now, the Stream Deck Plus I have connected to the game PC. It's how I run my audio tune, and it's how I control all the different audio sources on my game PC. It's not needed, but it's just really convenient to be able to mute the browser, mute the system sounds, or mute voice chat with the press of a button. I also use the Stream Deck to control OBS that I run on my game PC to project my gameplay to the stream PC. If you have any questions about any of these stream things I'm talking about and you stream and you want help with your stream, you can always book me. I have appointments available to help people with their streams, even outside of audio. That'll be linked down below. Now, to the right of that, I have a Stream Deck XL, and this is what runs the core of my stream. I use it to record, I use it to change scenes and move sources around. This is one of my favorite accessories. If you're a streamer and you don't have one, you absolutely need to pick up a Stream Deck. You can see that these are actually laying a little bit lower. I really wanted to get the monitor lower to the desk, and the Stream Decks were too tall with the stands that they came with, so I took them off and I added these little adhesive laptop kickstands, and they work great. Now, as far as mouse and keyboard goes, I have a Wooting 60HE. which is a great keyboard, even though I don't really play mouse and keyboard anymore. It's in a custom tofu case that's red on brand colors with low profile cherry keycaps and lighter switches, I believe. My main mouse is the WL mouse, the original one, just because it's a little bit bigger, and if I'm doing productivity tasks all day as well as playing games, it's just a good size and it's incredibly light. We've seen the desk, let's talk about the desk. This is a Uplift V2 L-Desk commercial frame. It's a mouthful, but it has the crossbar at the bottom and it also goes lower. I didn't really like any of the desk tops that they sold on the site, so I got in touch with a friend I used to skateboard with who is now a construction foreman in the film industry, and he built me this gorgeous 7-foot by 7-foot New Mexico pine desk. And it is just beautiful. I love it. And having this much space has really changed how the room feels and just how easy it is to sit in here all day, do research, do appointments, and do work. Right above all those accessories is probably one of my new favorite pieces of kit. I am using the Asus OLED 4K 240Hz, the QD model, so it's not the switchable 480Hz, 240Hz model. Ever since I switched to the Asus 1440p last year, I have just been addicted. And I'm turning 34 this year. My eyes don't work the same like they used to. I wear glasses, for God's sake. So every little bit of resolution has been super, super helpful, and having the extra resolution when I'm doing editing or productivity work is really, really nice. And behind that, you can see my capture card. Now, everybody seems to think that internal capture cards are better. Right now, the best capture card you can get on the market is the 4KX. If you don't believe me, go watch EposVox's channel. He goes over all the details. This is the only capture card that is really capable of capturing 4K at a high refresh rates. You can even clone 1440p 240Hz to it. So I use this, I project 4K 120 to it, so it's nice and smooth. That's a great segue over to the other PC you see on my desk. This is my stream PC, which I actually upgraded this year ahead of the AV1 changes that they're making on Twitch, and just so I can have a backup workhorse. This is actually another 13900K with 6400 megahertz RAM and a NVIDIA RTX 4070 Ti. I got the 4070 Ti because it does have 2 MnK encoders on it, so in the future when they update things, I'll have the best likelihood of having the most capability. In the bottom of the PC, I have a Camlink Pro. This is a 4-in capture card, so I can run all 4 of my cameras. You've already seen 2, the face cam that I'm speaking to you on right now, the setup cam we covered at the beginning of the video. The other 2 cameras are a hand cam that I have mounted to the ceiling for the mouse and keyboard gameplay that is few and far between these days. This is a Panasonic GX85 that I got really cheap off a buddy who used to skateboard, and I just threw an old broken crash cam lens that I had from the film industry on it. It works great. To my right, on my old Elgato mic arm, I actually have an A7S with a 20mm f1.8. This is my dedicated dog camera. So when people come into the stream and they want to see my dog, I can turn that on as a source and everybody can bask in the glory that is Fig. Now I have one other camera hooked up that doesn't fit in the 4 ports there, and that is actually an iPhone 11. When I'm playing controller, I am not a freak that can play on the desktop. I have to play under the desk. So I actually have an iPhone 11 mounted to the bottom on a camera arm with a lightning to HDMI adapter with a charger plugged in so it doesn't die, running the Blackmagic camera app that is then connected to a cheap USB-C capture card that is connected to the stream PC. The other thing that's down here is the Stream Deck foot pedal. I spent a lot of money on the cheaper yellow and gray foot pedals on Amazon. I finally bite the bullet when this was on sale, and I wish I just would have bought it from the start. The functionality through the Stream Deck software is great, and it's heavy and doesn't move around when you're trying to push it, which was my #1 complaint about the cheaper one. Over to the right, this is really unnecessary, but I have an extra monitor mount clipped upside down on my desk, and attached to it is the wonderful RoboCup. You can get these on Amazon. You can also get them at Guitar Center. They are a clamp-on cup holder, which is great to hold all the extra control freaks that I have, the bottle of water I'm drinking, or the caffeine that I'm glugging. Now, if you didn't pick up earlier, the uplift desk does go up and down, and everything goes with it, because the power strips that run everything are connected in the corners. The left side of the desk has one power strip that allows you to connect all of the game PC stuff to it, and then the right side of the desk has a power strip on the underside of it that has all the stream PC stuff to it. those are run to extension cables that are run to the battery backups you saw earlier that allow me to run the loud battery backups far away from the PC. I really took the time when I rebuilt this desk to do the cable management right because I wanted this to be a setup that I live in for a while, and I have to say, I'm pretty damn proud of it. Now, as far as monitors on the stream PC, I just retire my old gaming PC monitors to the streaming PC. So on the left-hand side, running Spotify, Discord, and my main OBS interface is my old ultrawide that I used to game on. Yes, I used to be an ultrawide gamer. You can check the clips on Twitch. It's great vertical because you can fit so many windows. On the right side, I have my old Alienware 1080p 240Hz monitor, also running vertical. This is where I have chat, my alerts, and also my Google Nest doorbell camera, just to see if I get a package or somebody's at the door, or my DoorDash is here. The one thing we haven't covered yet are my main lights. I'm a film industry nerd, and I'm not really a big fan of the traditional panel lights because you can't do much to control them, so I have opted for some Amaran LED hard lights. They have a Bowens mount, which is kind of like a snap-on, twist-on mount. My Keylight has a softbox on it, which is great, gives this nice soft light. And then behind me, also screwed into the ceiling, is my backlight, which is a hard light with a honeycomb in it, which focuses it onto the back of me. I think a backlight is one of the simplest things people can do to really turn up the quality of their stream. And another fun fact, all of my stuff is connected via the Amazon talking box, whose name I'm not going to say quite yet. So if I wanted to turn off my backlight, I just have to say, "Hey Alexa, turn off my backlight." And it turns off. "Hey Alexa, turn on all off." "Hey Alexa, turn on all on." I also have other commands written so the PCs actually turn off via power over Ethernet. So it is a really clean setup and I am really proud of it. Now there is one last little surprise lurking here. I do have a third PC. This is my old streaming PC that I have turned into an Unraid server. This is where I keep a bunch of media that I record for videos. So I have a Home Assistant app running security in my house, and it's also where I keep most of my media library. If you haven't looked into it, Unraid is a super cool thing you can do with an old PC laying around. I've wanted to do the setup video for quite some time, but I am really glad I waited till I redid the setup because the time I took and the cleanliness I did this with, I am super, super proud of, especially compared to the old setup. What can you expect in the coming weeks from me? I will be live a lot over on Twitch, twitch.tv/art_is_war, testing the audio tune in the beta and workshopping a new audio tune for Black Ops 6 Season 1, which is about the latest I hope to release the new settings. On YouTube, I will be catching up on a bunch of IEMs I was sent to review, so I will unfortunately also be live playing the current iteration of Warzone while we wait for the new game to drop. So make sure you like this video, subscribe and click the bell so you know when I upload the Black Ops 6 test videos and the new IEM reviews. And until the next video, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.